Hello guys, and welcome to this reading vlog where we're going to be reading horror novellas that take place during Halloween. I was recording some videos today and I thought it would be also a good time now to do the introduction to this vlog in which I'm going to be reading 4 horror novellas. So let's talk about the 4 that I'm going to be reading during this vlog.
It's coffee time!
First we have Halloween Fiend by C.V. Hunt, and all I know about this one is that we are in a small town called Strang, and in that town there is a creature that comes at night, and the town people have named the creature Halloween, and every night they have to give the creature a treat to keep her happy and satisfied and also keep themselves alive. That is all I know, but it sounds like a lot of fun. Heard many people talking about it, so this is one of the 4 that I am the most excited about. The Halloween Store and Other Tales of All Hallows Eve by Ronald Kelly, and this one, as the title implies, it is short stories. This is the one that I cheated a little bit with because it's not exactly a novella, it is short horror stories, but I have had this one on my list for so long and I feel like I needed to finally get it. I think all the short stories are related to this store, so probably people come into the Halloween store to buy something or get something and something happens or it triggers a story. I'm not sure, but this is one that has been recommended to me as well in the past, and I'm excited to try it out because, you know, Halloween is the perfect time for short horror stories. Then I have Halloween Land by Kevin J. Kennedy, and this one is about, I think, a couple of friends that are horror buffs, and there is a new carnival, like a new theme park coming to town for Halloween night, and they're very eager to be the first ones to try the rides. However, when they get there, I'm guessing that things don't go really well and this carnival is gonna have something evil inside. I'm not sure, but this sounds like so much fun for Halloween because I also love myself a good horror tale with a carnival, a theme park. I'm just a sucker for that. I think being able to utilize like the rides and the atmosphere of the carnival is always so much fun. So we will see how this one goes. And the last one is Trick or Treat by George Massey, and I am so excited for this one because I have never ever heard anybody mentioning this book, talking about this book, so I need to know and I need to tell you guys how it is. It basically follows a couple of children that I think during Halloween night they find an abandoned theme park. Again, theme park, please, yes, sign me up. And it's an abandoned theme park, but they decide to go in and explore and try to get into the rides, which I wonder if they work or not because it's an abandoned park, but I guess we shall see. I'm really excited about this one. I'm always like extra excited when I read something that I have never heard anybody talking about because I feel like I'm going in a lot more blindly. Like when friends or booktubers that I follow recommend books, then I know what I can kind of expect, or you know, I have people that I know I can trust because we have the same taste. But when I read something completely new to me, it's always exciting. It's the thrill of maybe finding potentially a really good recommendation for the future. So those are the 4 novellas that take place on Halloween that I will be reading, and I'll see you guys once I have time to sit down and pick up the first novella.
You were like a ransom note. If I give in, will you come home? I put everything I had into getting you back. I was only 17, and you were the air I breathed. I walked across the burning bridge for you. Those roads we walked, I'll know forever.
Good morning, guys. I just woke up, if you cannot tell by my face. I'm tired. It is a Sunday, and I thought it would be a great day today to start reading our Halloween themed horror novellas because obviously Sundays I always have a little bit more free time, even though I do have a lot of things planned for today that I have to do, but I thought in the morning I deserve my coffee and a book. Today I'm using my new ghosty mug. I feel like this year Halloween for me has been very much ghostly themed for some reason, because there's ghosts everywhere. In particular this year I got these, and I got these sippy mug as well from Starbucks with little ghosties as well. And my nails have also little ghosties in them. You see, it's so cute. So I feel like this year's Halloween theme for me is ghosts. So maybe I should watch a lot of like ghost supernatural themed movies this year. But we're here today to talk about books, specifically about horror novellas. As I just explained to you guys in the intro, I am planning to read 4 different horror novellas that take place during Halloween. And I'm really excited because there is no other book on my October TBR pile this year that takes place around Halloween or October. So I feel like this is my way to compensate with the horror novellas. And I don't know which one to start with, but I think I might start today with Halloween Fiend, because this is one that I kept seeing people talking about when the novella came out, and I never picked it up, and I am quite intrigued. The story is quite simple. We have a small town where there is this, I'm guessing, creature that comes, this monster that comes every night and demands a treat, and the people in town call it Halloween. Specifically on Halloween night, this evil creature that they call Halloween comes demanding a really big sacrifice. So I'm guessing we're gonna get here into potentially human sacrifice, right? That's what you would expect. Let's take our first sip of coffee. Yeah, it hits the spot every time. Every morning when I wake up, my first thought is, I get to drink coffee now, and it just makes me so happy. I'm a simple person. I just like the simple things in life. And it's also a rainy day, which means it's the perfect atmosphere for us to read some Halloween themed books. It feels a lot more like fall, wintry kind of weather now, and I welcome it. Although we didn't get a very long summer in the Netherlands this year, so the majority of the year has been just rainy and dark, but that is fine. At least it's atmospheric to play horror video games, to read my horror books, to watch horror movies. So for the majority of the year, actually, we have here pretty good atmosphere.
Those times we talked, I still remember. Is it not enough that I paid with my heart once, twice? If I'm blind to who you are, which of us was behind bars? Were you worth the price I paid?
Let's talk about the book and how it starts. We are in a very small town called Strang, where basically the population that it's left is around 100 people, and not many people move into that town, and if they do, I don't think they are aware that they're basically trading their lives to move there, because once you're in that town, you can't leave. And every night there is this creature that the townspeople have named Halloween, and that creature comes and demands a little treat, a little something for them to eat. And obviously they don't want regular food, they want flesh and blood. So the majority of people in town have set up their own kind of sacrifice, and every night, most of them, they put a cage outside with a small animal inside so that Halloween can come and take it, which I'm not a fan. I don't like when animals are being sacrificed. At least there is no graphic depiction so far of animals being torn apart, which I appreciate, but I'm still not a fan of having animal sacrifices. And then once a year, for All Hallows Eve, there is like a town meeting, and they have to see what they can do to please Halloween for that year, because obviously in All Hallows Eve, like, for Halloween night, they have to do something special for the creature. But it's funny because the townspeople almost pretend like it's super normal. Like, they have activities for Halloween, and they have this year even like thrilling rides, like almost like a small carnival and stuff. And it's like, why are you guys so excited to celebrate Halloween season when you know that there is a bigger sacrifice you have to make. I mean, I guess at some point you're just a little bit delusional. I think you just lose your mind a little bit when every night there's a creature coming for a sacrifice, and it's like every single day of your life you're living with fear. I think when you've been living in a town like that for so many years, because our main character has been living there 45 years, so all his life, I think at some point you just get desensitized, maybe that's the word. But our main character still has a lot of remorse about what he does, you know, having to sacrifice these small animals. And sometimes if Halloween is not satisfied with the treat that you give it, then you get tricked, which basically is it comes inside of your house and it kills you. So you better make sure that whatever you put on your front porch is good enough. At this stage, they are about to have their town meeting for this year's big Halloween events. So I don't know what they do in that meeting. Do they decide to sacrifice somebody from town? Do they choose someone that is like the oldest, or is it like a raffle where if you're the lucky one, you get to be eaten this year? I don't know how they do it, but I'm excited to see what exactly it means, these kind of Halloween preparations, and what do they have to give to this creature for this special night. So I'm gonna keep reading because I want to finish it today in one sitting, and I'll let you guys know how it went. I need more coffee to discuss this book. But I finished it, so good news, you guys. I have finished the novella, and I can already tell you this is a great pick for Halloween. If you are still looking for a quick read for Halloween night, or if you are already collecting things for next year, I do strongly recommend this one because it does take all the elements that make Halloween fun and turns them into horror. Basically, people in this town, instead of happily celebrating Halloween, they are basically celebrating death. And they are just resigned to accept this reality they live in. And it's quite dark and grim. And I really enjoyed the whole story. The only thing that I was missing, but it is a novella, so it is a short read. I think it's only 112 pages or so. The only thing that I was missing was to know a little bit more of the origins of Halloween, of this creature that comes at night. Why did it originate there? At the beginning of the book, there is a comment on if people built the town on top of some sort of monster's lair without knowing that there was something there, or if Halloween came to them later. But it's something that we don't know, so we don't know the origins of the creature, which is something that I would have loved to explore. But I get as well that it is a short novella, and if you start to get a lot into details about that, it gets too long, or maybe it drags too much, because a novella is supposed to be quick, fast-paced, and to pack a punch, which I think this one did. I was very content with the ending. They do go a little bit more into detail on how they pick the person that they sacrifice every year for Halloween for the creature to come and take. So basically, the whole year, every night they need to give the creature like a small animal, and then the creature is content. But once a year the creature wants a person. So once a year it wants someone from the town. There's also many rules for people that live in this town. There's a curfew. You're not supposed to look at the creature, to talk to the creature. You're supposed to give it a treat. You're not supposed to talk to strangers about what's going on in the town. And it's very interesting. There's also a sheriff that I think is a very unlikable character because he is quite despicable in the sense that I think he has forgotten how to treat human beings, because what he has to do every year, which is make sure the human sacrifice is given to the creature, it can be something very, you know, that really destroys you inside. So I think he has desensitized himself with the situation, and he sees it only as his duty, and he's just, you know, doing his job but it comes across very cold. But I really enjoyed it. I liked our main character, I liked the town. I kind of wish I would have spent more time with them. I kind of wish this would have been like a full-length novel because we could have spent more time in the town. We could have explored how this town came to existence, how Halloween came to the town, or if the creature was already there when the town was built, and how things have changed maybe through the years, how they saw the creature for the first time, how did we get to this agreement, like, okay, we'll give you a treat every night and then you leave us in peace, like who made that deal with the creature? Like, these are all questions that I still have. So I think for the author to be able to give us all of those answers, the book would have had to be longer. But I'm really satisfied, and I really like the writing style as well. I thought it was very entertaining. I really felt the small town vibes and the community and how weird people are when something like this happens, you know, how they are friendly, but at the same time they're happy when they're not the ones that have to suffer, and you kind of see people's true colors in such a grim situation. So I really enjoyed it overall, so I'm gonna give it a higher rating, probably a 4 or something like that, 4.5, I don't know, but it was a really good one. So this has been a great start into this reading vlog, and we shall see what the next novella has in store for us. Today, this has been all. I'm not gonna read any more novellas today, but tomorrow we will continue reading our next novella.
I can feel it now, the love is sending down through the skies, your beautiful halo. I caught you chasing the sun as I was chasing the one. We never looked back from our lover road. You showed me love before.
Day 2 of reading horror novellas based on Halloween, and the sun is out in the Netherlands. It is October. Are you kidding me? It's supposed to be rainy and dark, and it's supposed to be spooky season. Why are you giving me the sun now? Are you compensating for the summer that you robbed me of this year? Probably. But anyway, it is a blessing and a curse because obviously I have to read, but the weather is so good that I might end up going on a walk because you gotta make the best out of this weather when you live in the Netherlands. I love to go on walks and all of that, but when it's raining and it's really cold and windy, I'm not a big fan of going on walks. So I might make use of the sun and go on a walk, but we also have to read today our second novella. I think I'm gonna choose one of the two that I have that are based on a theme park. I think that's exactly what I'm in the mood for right now, and leave the short horror stories for another day. Baby! She's getting so big, you guys. Look at the baby. You're getting big. You're getting big. And here's Morbius. Hello, Morby. And here's Logan. Hi, Lily. Hi. Good day. Hello, guys. Chaotic because... Hello, Logan is desperate to come to mommy. Oh, yes. He's been a little bit needy. Yes, I know. Because mommy has been working today. Yeah. So because I don't have so much time today to read my horror novella, I'm gonna see which one of the two that are about these carnival slash theme park, which one is the shortest one, and that's the one that I'm gonna be reading today. So yeah, I know, honey, I know, but mommy has to work to get you food. Yeah, and pay your insurance and pay everything. Okay, so we have Trick or Treat and Halloween Land. Let me see which one is shorter. Goodreads coming through today. Saving me ass. Okay, so Halloween Land is 180 pages. Ooh, I think they're gonna be pretty much the same length. And Trick or Treat is, I think this was the longest, yeah, 192. So it's kind of the same thing, doesn't make much of a difference. too bad for me. Actually, we have a plot twist because the short horror story compilation that I didn't want to read today per se is 135 pages. So Destiny has spoken, basically because I had to work so long today and I don't have much time left for reading. We're gonna do the Halloween store and other tales of All Hallows Eve because it's 135 pages and it is short story, so it might be a little bit quicker for me to go through. So that's what we're gonna do. Sometimes, you know, things don't go the way you plan them.
Before heaven called to take you home. I vowed I'd treasure any time.
Well, you guys. So we have a small town and a new Halloween store just opened. And it looks very different from your typical stores in town. And we follow a group of kids that want to check out the store, but obviously they think it's going to be overpriced and they can get the same Halloween stuff cheaper somewhere else. But curiosity gets them to go into the store and to ask about stuff inside of the store, including some vintage looking costumes. It is a werewolf, a vampire, a witch, and an Egyptian mummy, and the costumes look extremely realistic. And the woman, the old woman that owns the store, tells them that she's going to cut them a good deal for them. So they cut a deal with the owner of the store that they will come pick up the costumes on the 31st of October, giving them time to save up enough money to buy them. So she puts them aside for them until they can come pick them up, and she gives each kid a card, kind of like a collectible card, but the cards reflect exactly the costumes that they put aside. So we have the werewolf, the vampire, the witch, and the Egyptian mummy, and these cards are holographic as well. And the kids wonder, why are these cards looking exactly the same as their costumes? How did she know which costume each of them wanted? We already know here that it's gonna end up not well for the kids. Even the kids are like, you know, this woman looks almost like the Hansel and Gretel witch. You know, sometimes things when are too good to be true, they probably are. Just be wary, but of course these are kids, and kids tend to be sometimes too trusty because they have not been completely demolished, left alone, betrayed, lied to as much as adults have. They have not went through the trenches like people my age have. So they still have this idea that people are not all evil. For me, I left that train years ago. Honestly, there is many good people in the world, but I am definitely a lot more on guard when it comes to trusting people than I was obviously when I was younger. Hashtag learned my lesson. We have finished the first story. I have swapped more views for Logan that is now trying to sleep. He's been very needy lately. I don't know if it's because after I was on holidays, he felt like I abandoned him. I hope not, but after I came back from holidays, he's been even more attached than normal. So he's been like really cuddly and really needy. So I'm giving him all the loves. Yep. Anyway, we finished the first story, which was the Halloween store, and I really enjoyed it. But I felt like I was kind of expecting some sort of twist, some sort of like punch, because I feel like the way the story was going, you kind of expected everything, so it was very predictable. I would say in that regard it might be like a episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark or an episode of Goosebumps, you know, where you kind of know the outcome, especially when you're an adult and you're reading something like that, but you still think that it's fun. So it was a cute story. It was not too intense with the horror. It was cute. I liked it. And now we're gonna go to the second story, which is called Mr. Mac is Back in Town. I'm gonna get to this one and let you guys know what I think of it. Well, I finished that story fairly quickly, and that one was not exactly my cup of tea. It started quite well, and then it just became a little bit meh for me for some reason. So it is about this couple that is looking for their 10-year-old daughter that got lost last night. She never made it home and they're very worried, and the police calls them the next day that they have found her, but she's barely conscious, she's very anemic, and looks like her clothes have been taken off and then put back on, like her t-shirt is the other way around, her shoes are in the wrong foot. Basically, the parents go to the hospital really worried, but you know, she's still alive and she probably will recover. And the daughter was not alone. She was together with her friend Hannah, but Hannah was never found. And this triggered a memory from Kyle's childhood. Kyle is the father of the girl. In this memory that we see from his perspective, he also talks about abductions, you know, of kids and who was behind it and things like that. I just don't want to go into too much detail in case you have not read the short stories and you want to experience them for yourself. But the way that everything was resolved and stuff, it was not exactly my cup of tea. I like the idea, I like the beginning, but after that it kind of lost me a little bit, so I was not a big fan of this one. So we're gonna go to story number 3, which is Blood Suede Shoes. Don't know what to expect from this one, but here we go. Hello guys. We have finished, right? We finished together the story, and this one was quite interesting. It was shorter and there is not much I can tell you without kind of spoiling it for you, but it starts with, you know, a girl walks home alone in the middle of the night and there is this car, this Cadillac, beautiful car that comes at her level and asks her if she needs a ride home. She says no, because obviously that's what you're supposed to do. But then she realizes that she actually knows the driver, and it is a rockabilly singer that she likes, and she actually just went to see the concert, and she feels a little bit safer. She feels flattered because he calls her beautiful, and she decides to accept the ride home. But then there is a storm that comes around, so they have to stop the car for a little bit until the storm calms down a little bit. And yeah, that's all I gotta tell you. It was fun. It was an interesting one. Again, a little bit predictable at some point, but I think this one feels very much like Tales from the Crypt as well, kind of like short story. So now we're gonna go and read the next one. The next one is called Clown Treats. And I'm really excited for this one because I love clowns. When I was a kid, allegedly I hated them. According to my mom, when I was a little kid and they took me to the circus, I saw a clown and I started crying immediately. So I was never really a fan of clowns apparently as a kid, which it's completely fair because they look horrifying. As an adult, I love clowns, especially, you know, since meeting Pennywise. I love Pennywise, both interpretations of the clown by Tim Curry and Bill Skarsgård. So I don't mind clowns anymore. I'm not scared of clowns anymore. And I actually love to watch movies about clowns. Killer Clowns from Outer Space is fantastic. It's very campy, very cheesy, but a great movie. I love to read about clowns as well, and I don't think I have read as many clown books as I should because I really like clown movies, so why not clown books? Of course, I have read Clown in a Cornfield by Adam Caesar, but I feel like there must be other books and novellas out there about clowns that I haven't read yet. So if you have any recommendations for books about clowns, leave them down below. So I'm gonna read story number 4, Clown Treats, and I'll let you know what I thought. The clown story was extra short, you guys, short and sweet. So this is about a couple kids that are trick-or-treating and they go to their favorite school teacher's house to get all the good treats because they know she has the good stuff. She doesn't open the door, so the kids decide to go in because they know her, and they find a clown sitting on her chair, Mr. Chuckles. And the clown talks really weird things to them and gives them a treat, and that's all I'm gonna tell you. I'm so sorry that I have to be like so vague about these stories in particular because they are quite short and I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I think this one and the first one with the Halloween store are my favorites because they are really truly about kids and Halloween and dressing up and Halloween night and trick-or-treating, and those two have more of that Halloween feeling that I was looking for more than the other ones. So I would say for now these have been my 2 favorite ones. Maybe even the clown one, it's more of a favorites because it's short but sweet and does what it's supposed to do. So these might be my favorite so far. So we're gonna keep reading. We're gonna get to our next story called The Cistern, and I'll let you know how that one went. After finishing that story, I think I'm gonna have to call it a day for today because it's getting late and I still have a little bit of work things to finish, and then I have to make dinner and all of that. So I don't know if I will be able to read more stories, but let me talk to you about the last one that I read. So the last one, it's about a guy that is returning to his hometown 20 years later, and I always love those kind of stories where people return to their hometowns many years later and see the things that have changed through time. So this guy goes back to his hometown 20 years later and he's talking about the things that have changed, and then he comes across a kid that tells him about the Halloween festival that takes place there every year, and if he would like to go and go on some rides. And he says yes, you know, he's like, why not? Let's go see the festival. He's curious about it because he didn't know if they were still making this Halloween festival. So it has a lot of cool descriptions, you know, of the carnival and the things that you can do and the attractions and all of that. And that's all I can tell you without spoiling it. But it was fun. It was, again, a little bit more Halloween themed than some of the other stories. So I do prefer that, I feel like, in this compilation, because I am looking for those really Halloween atmosphere stories. The next one is called Pretty Little Lanterns, and all I can think of when I think of lanterns is always Terrifier, the first one, the original, when Art the Clown makes his own lanterns. That's all I can think about. If you know, you know. It's very extreme, so I don't know if you want to look it up, but it's one of my favorite parts of the first movie, to be honest. I think it looks really cool. But anyway, I think I'm gonna have to put this one away for either tonight or tomorrow because, you know, adulting is hard. So I'm only 56% on the short stories and I cannot sit here for another hour, sadly. So I have to get back to work and then, you know, do chores. So it is what it is for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed the show so far, and I'll get back to you probably tomorrow. Good morning, guys. I woke up today and I chose violence. Because I was gonna get ready to sit down and keep reading our short horror story, but I have an itch. I need to get rid of a couple books. I have been, you know, buying new books recently, and I know that Yalk is approaching, and I fear the day that I touch London soil. English soil, because I'm probably gonna buy a lot of books while in England, which, you know, I'm not really mad about, you know. Once I'm there, I might as well make use of my trip and bring the books back. But I also feel like when I come back and I have so many books on my shelves, it's a little bit overwhelming because there is books absolutely everywhere in this room. So I thought I would make like a little purge today. A little purge and let you guys know which books I'm getting rid of. It's probably just books that I've had for a long time and either I'm never gonna reread, or books that I have not read but I know for a fact that I'm never gonna read. And if in the future, for whatever reason, I do want to pick it up, I can buy it again. I can get it in audiobook, I can get it in ebook. So there's always options, and I feel like we get so attached to our books, which, you know, fair enough. But I need to make space for the new. So I'm going to sort out some books on those shelves and get back to you to let you know which ones I'm letting go for now. Okay, so I've made a quick swipe and I don't want to go too crazy either because I don't want to get rid of too many things that maybe I regret later. But I think I have picked a couple that I am confident I can let go. So let me show you some of the things I decided to part with. Let's start with one that might surprise you, but it is Clive Barker Weave World, and it is because this is more fantasy than horror, and I feel like for my collection I would like to keep the books that are 100% something that I would reread. And I don't think this is a book that I would read again and again. I think there is other books by Clive Barker that I would reread, but this is not one of them. Then I have Winter People by Jennifer McMahon. I really enjoyed this book. It was very atmospheric, but it was also very slow paced, and as much as I enjoyed it, I don't think I need to reread this book. I feel like it did what it had to do when I read it, and I am content. So I think this one has to go to make space for more vintage horror paperbacks. Then I have Dean Koontz The Corner of His Eye. I've always hated this edition. And I have a bunch of Dean Koontz books in vintage paperback and also on my Kindle. So I feel like if I get rid of this one, it's not gonna hurt me. And in the future, if I am loving all of the books that I pick by the author, I can read this one. Fun fact, I still have not read any Dean Koontz book, and I own many paperbacks and some ebooks, and I still have not started reading his books, so it's fine if I let go of one. Then I have Micro by Michael Crichton, and it's because his books are mostly sci-fi horror, and I don't feel like it's something that I would gravitate towards at the moment. And also this type of books, I think I would read them faster if I would have them on my Kindle. This is also not like any special edition that I am in love with or something, so I can let it go. There's Someone Inside Your House by Stephanie Perkins. I enjoyed the book for what it was, but I actually liked the movie better, which is, I know, shocking. Maybe it's blasphemy of me saying it, but I enjoyed the movie more. I don't think I will ever reread this book, and I have many other YA books that I would reread instead of these, so it can go. Greg Iles, The Devil's Punch Bowl. I've had this book for I don't know how many years and I've never even considered to pick it up, so it has to go. Then I have one that might shock you as well. It's You Love Me by Caroline Kepnes. This is the third book on the You series, but the reason why I'm getting rid of this one is that it does not match my other editions. These are my editions for You and Hidden Bodies, and they are by the same publishing company. These are Simon and Schuster. And then I have this one, which I ordered as regular paperback, but it came like as a big paperback, and I cannot have it on my shelves. Plus, I have to separate them because they don't fit together in the same shelf. So I feel like I need to get rid of these, and I can repurchase it in this same format to match the collection, but I don't want to keep this huge paperback. Next is a middle grade called The Jumbies by Tracy Baptiste, and I think I have tried to pick this up a couple of times, but I never gravitate towards the book. And also the thing is that I don't read as much middle grade as I used to, and when I do, I prefer to do it on my Kindle. And then if one of the middle grade books that I read is extraordinary, I can always get a physical copy for my collection, but I want to keep my middle grade collection to things like the Goosebumps books and stuff like that instead of the newer books. I would still like to read it maybe in the future, but I'll try to see if I can get the ebook edition. The next one is one that it's hard for me. I have been trying to decide which one to keep, and that is B. Schwab Galant. And I say which one to keep because I have 2 copies of this book. The reason being, I bought this one, and then I think it was in Amsterdam at a bookstore, and I saw this edition which was signed by the author, and I'm like, oh, I don't have any book signed by B.E. Schwab, and I really like her book, so I might as well get this one, so I have at least one signed book by the author. But then I went to London and I found another one of her books signed. When I went to London last year, I picked up The Fragile Threads of Power, and this is a signed edition as well, so at least I have one signed copy by B.E. Schwab, so I don't need my 2 copies of Galant. And so it happens that I actually like the non-signed edition better, and I'm gonna keep this one and get rid of the signed edition. Hopefully I will still get to meet her. Maybe she will return to Yag, or she will come to another event here in the Netherlands and I will get to meet her, and then I can get this one signed in person, because I really do prefer this edition over this one. The only reason why I was keeping this is because I wanted to have one signed book by her, but now I have the other one, so I can now finally part ways with this one. Then I have Haunted Nights, which is a short horror story compilation, and these are all stories around Halloween. I don't think I will ever reread these, so I think it's best if it goes. Then I have a couple of Agatha Christie books, and the reason why I'm getting rid of these ones is because either I'm gonna start reading her books only exclusively on my Kindle, because I don't know if those are books that I would reread, or I will get a matching collection, which I don't know if it's even possible with her books because she has so many. But the thing is, I have 3 different Agatha Christie books, and the 3 of them are complete different editions, so it's annoying. And I feel like her books is something that I would love to consume, probably on my Kindle if they're available. Otherwise, I will try to decide on which collection I would prefer to start. The books I'm getting rid of are Murder on the Orient Express, we have Crooked House, and we have Black coffee. So these are three complete different editions and they don't look really nice on my shelves, and I think it's best if I just consume these ones on my Kindle because I think I will love them. I remember reading Agatha Christie when I was a teenager, like books that I would get from the library. I also don't remember which ones I read back in the day, it's many years ago, but I think I would much rather get them on my Kindle, to be honest. So these will go. And last but not least, I'm gonna get rid of some of my Creepers books, and let me explain why. Even though I love these re-edition of the books and these are all brand new, I still have not even read them. I found in a secondhand store the original editions, and I like these ones much better because they look more middle grade vintage, more like kind of Goosebumps kind of vibe, and that is the type of collection that I want to have when it comes to my middle grade horror books. So my plan is to get the whole collection in this edition. That's why I don't need these newer editions anymore. So I'm gonna try to hunt down all the titles that I'm missing and complete the edition, but with these covers. So I'll have to let them go. Hello guys. Wow, it's been a little bit longer than I wanted, but I was upstairs fixing my Ewilathon recommendation video to give you guys some options when it comes to the books that you're gonna use for the prompts, and it took a little bit longer than I anticipated, but I'm finally ready to keep reading our short horror story compilation. We had to read Pretty Little Lanterns. Let's see what this one is all about. I'll chat with you guys in a second once I'm ready. I can't believe you guys, but I actually called it. I am literally in page 1, and these are the type of lanterns that I was wishing for. The type of lanterns that you can see in the first Terrifier movie. And it started quite gory, so this might be potentially my favorite story. So let's keep reading. We have a quick update for you guys, me and Logan. So I finished the story and I think this might be my favorite. Who would have thunk? But this one was quite gory. There's a lot of body horror in this one and it's very brutal. So I think that's why I enjoyed it the most. I also loved the ending. I would say this is the perfect short story for people that love the movie Trick or Treat. So this story reminded me of Trick or Treat and the stories that you get to see in that movie, which is one of my favorite movies of all times. What I can tell you about the story is that we are in a town where every year for Halloween there have been a series of murders. Somebody has been killing people, decapitating them, and turning their heads into jack-o'-lanterns. And we follow a detective that is trying to figure out who's the one responsible for all of these murders before this year's Halloween, before that person kills again. The next story, which might be the last one because I'm already 80% into the book, so this might be the last one. It is called The Amazing and Totally Awesome Fright Creature. So this is potentially a creature feature. So I'm gonna get to reading this one and I'll let you guys know what this one is all about. Next quick update. So I finished that story and apparently there is a last one. So the story that I just read, it is very much about a creature as I suspected. It's about two kids that are besties, they're best friends, and they are going through some old comics and they find an old advertisement where you can order a fright creature, and it's supposed to be a creature that you can feed and it grows and it's supposed to be alive. And they think, of course, that it's not true, that you probably just get like a plastic figure, but they check the company and they decide to buy one of the creatures. So when they receive it, the package the creature comes in, it's smaller than a package of cigarettes, but as they feed the creature starts growing. Now I have one last story to go. It's called The Last Halloween, an essay, and Kindle tells me that I have around 15 minutes to get this done. So I'm gonna do that and I will be finished with the short horror story compilation. And unless this one, it is extremely good. I think my favorite one has been the one from the jack-o'-lanterns for sure, because I think that one is gory to my taste. But I think that has been also thus far the most disturbing one because it's the most graphic one. But let's see what this one is about, and I will check in with you guys to let you know my final thoughts on this short story compilation. Alright, let's wrap this up before the light leaves me because the sun is going down, and I would like to talk to you about the last actually 2 chapters because there is another one called My Top Favorite Halloween Stuff of the 60s and 70s. So the last 2 chapters, I think it's just a reflection on how Halloween has changed through the years, and I believe this comes from the personal experience of the author, and he's talking about the very last amazing Halloween he had. He talks about the type of costumes, the candy, all of the things, you know, the decorations, how they've changed through the years and all of that, the horror movies that we used to watch as kids versus the ones that we have now. So it's been really interesting for me to read, especially because obviously this comes from a perspective of someone who lives in a place where Halloween is truly celebrated, especially back in the 60s and 70s. So that was very, very interesting. I really enjoy that. But when it comes to the short horror stories, I think The Lanterns still wins. That one, fantastic. But again, this is the most disturbing one. I think I'm gonna give this also between a 4 and a 4.5 because I really truly enjoyed all the stories. Some more than others, but I think that's normal in a short horror story compilation. But in general, this was very enjoyable, and I think this is a great pick for Halloween. So I will be recommending this one for next year. But I'll talk to you guys when I can get to my next novella.
You were like a ransom note. If I give in, will you come home? I put everything I had.
Good morning from Drusilla and me. She's getting so big. Look at this. Oh my goodness, you're getting so big. We're showing them. Let's show them how big you got. Look how big you got. Hello, we're getting ready to read, but Logan needs a little bit of love. Poor thing had to go to the vet today. I'm so sorry. But you've been puking. What do you want me to do? Need to make sure you're good. While he's making his biscuits, his cookies here, let's see the 2 books that I had left. So the 2 that I have left actually both take place at carnivals. I think the one that I'm gonna try to read today, hopefully I finish it today as well, is Halloween Land. It says a coming-of-age novella by Kevin J. Kennedy. I think this is the one that I want to try today. Let's discuss the book a little bit, shall we? We follow 2 besties, best friends, Zach and Wendy. They've been friends since they were kids, and they absolutely love Halloween and horror movies. Could be me, literally. And they're very excited because this Halloween is very special because they're getting Halloween Town, a theme park carnival thing that is going to open just exclusively for Halloween night, and it was announced a month ago. The kids have been planning it. They have their costumes ready. Wendy's dressing up as Wednesday Addams because apparently she looks similar. Again, could be me. And they're very excited, so they get to the park early. They start going on all the rides, but they start also to notice that the carnies, the people that work there, look a little bit weird. Something is off about them. They're not sure what it is. They decide to go in the end to this fun house before the park closes, and Wendy has a really bad feeling about it, but they go in anyway. When they get out of the fun house, they realize that everybody in the park is gone except of them, and now it seems that they are trapped in there with some weird looking clowns with pumpkin heads, and it's giving Halloween, okay, you guys? So far it's very entertaining. I'm 40% into the book. I'm having fun. I like our main characters, and let's see how they get out of the park if they get out of the park at all, and how the book progresses after that. You guys, I finished. This has been super quick, such a quick read. So definitely a great pick if you want to read something short for Halloween day. So let's ignore the fact that I have a cat butt on my face, and let me tell you about the book. So basically, after Zach and Wendy go to the carnival that night and things happen to them, they manage to get out, and then we follow them 5 years later, and because of things that happened in life, they kind of are a little bit distanced from each other. They are no longer besties, and they are just living their lives a little bit separate. But then 5 years later, the carnival comes back for one night, and now that they know what the carnival can do to people and what the carnival can do to the town, they want to team up again to destroy this carnival so it doesn't come back. Now, I thought this was fun, but I think I'm only gonna give it a 3 because it was a little bit repetitive and I was not as invested as I hope I would be. But I think it's a lot of fun because you have a carnival, you have pumpkins, you have clowns, you have, you know, a small town carnival thing that does weird things to the people in town. So it is very much a perfect read for the season, and it has amazing elements. It is a fast-paced read, but I don't know, for whatever reason, I didn't quite connect to the story as much as I would have hoped. I do like the main characters. I think Zach and Wendy are great characters. But yeah, for some reason, I was not as invested as I hoped. So I'm only gonna give it a 3. But I would still recommend it to you guys, to be honest. Especially, like I said, if you're looking for one quick read that you can just sit down and read for Halloween night. And we just have one more novella to go, you guys. But for now, I'm just gonna go back upstairs to my office because there is still some things that I want to do before the end of the day. That was it for today, you guys. I'll see you all tomorrow to read the last horror novella that has Halloween as theme for this October month. Good morning, guys. Today is the last day for this vlog, and I have to read today the last horror novella that we have for this challenge. But before that, I'm gonna go for a bike ride because the weather is nice today. The sun is out. So I'm gonna take my bicycle today because I have to return a package from Amazon because I ordered a book. It was a pre-order of a book that I am really excited to read. It's not even horror. It is actually the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune, and I had pre-ordered the hardcover with the special edition. I think it was yellow or golden spread edges, and what they sent me is a regular paperback. Just a regular paperback. And the moment I received this, I was mad. And to be fair, I'm not gonna just sit down and read it right away, so it's not like it stopped me from immediately getting to read the sequel. But it is very annoying if I order the special edition hardcover and you send me the regular paperback. Like, the audacity. So I contacted Amazon and I was like, absolutely not, babes. Not happening. So they have sent me a return label. I will be returning this today, and they have already shipped a replacement. Basically sending me the actual thing that I ordered. Thank you very much. So I don't know, it just really upsets me when I order something and they just send me whatever and they don't care. But anyway, I'm gonna go return this, and then I'll be back here with you guys so that we can read the last novella for the vlog. Here's me and Drusilla. So today got a little bit more complicated than anticipated, and I haven't had time for much. I want to take the time now to sit down and read a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to finish the novella today, but at least I want to start it. So we're gonna get cozy. I think today I'm gonna change to the couch, so you are not sick and tired of seeing the same angle in my book room. So we're gonna be reading in the living room, and Drusilla has decided that she's also had enough of me today. Welcome to the living room, you guys. So today we're going to be reading the last one, and actually the last one is one that I was really excited to read because I have never heard anybody talking about this one. So I am excited, also a little bit scared. It is called Trick or Treat by George Massey. But anyway, let's start it and let's see what this one has in store for us. Well, you guys, so I have finished the book and the light has almost left me, so I need to wrap this up. So basically, this is actually a children's book, and while I was reading it, I was like, this reads very much middle grade, and I guess I was correct. But it was fun. It was fun. You follow two boys, they are besties, they love Halloween, as we all do, and they decide to do something special this Halloween. They go to the lake to take a boat and kind of go to this island, and in that island they discover a theme park, and they decide to take the ghost train. Fun fact, when I was a kid, I hated the ghost train. I was scared of it. I was not having any of it. So it's something that I would not have done when I was a kid. Like, my parents were like, let's go, let's see the witches, and I was like, absolutely not. It's funny how I was scared of so many things when I was a kid, like clowns and the ghost train and all of those things, and now it's things that I love. The birds are being too loud, so I'm gonna go to my reading room so I can finish this video. Okay, let's do it here. So basically, they go into the ghost train and they take the ride and they are really excited. They think this is the best Halloween ever, but soon they realize that they are in this ghost train without any kind of security, like no belt, no nothing. And there are loops coming and there are falls coming, and they don't know what's gonna happen. The chapters in the book are quite short, which I really loved because it helps a lot with the pacing. As they are exploring the rooms and everything that they have to go through in this ghost train, we learn more about the boys and their past. I mean, their past, they're just kids, like their childhood. You get to know them a little bit better, and they also get to know themselves better. This felt, again, kind of like a Goosebumps episode, especially this one, because it felt very much targeted for kids, but it does have a lot of the elements that you would love from a horror based in Halloween, especially if you love theme parks. And I like that this one is targeted to children and it has a lot of good messages. It kind of has a moral to the story, like there is a deeper meaning of why this is happening to them and all of that. I don't want to go into too much detail because I don't want to spoil the plot or the purpose of this ghost ride or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it and I had never heard anybody talking about this book. So if you have kids or if you are looking to read more middle grade children's books and you want something spooky for the season, something quick to read in one day, I think this one is a good choice. I think in the end I'm gonna give it between a 3 and a 3.5. So all in all, the 4 horror novellas that I read for these vlog have been a win. Like, I've enjoyed all of them more or less. So all 4 are books that I would recommend to you guys. Now let me know down below if you want me to do more vlogs like these where I read novellas that have a particular theme in like a week. Let me know if there's any theme that you would like me to explore. Anything goes, anything that's horror related. I'll take a look at what novellas I can read because I have a lot of fun with these ones and it's really motivating me to read more horror novellas and just read more in general. So I hope that you enjoyed this one. I feel like in this vlog I've been a lot at home, a lot in my reading room, but I have been working a lot, so I have not been outside as much as I should have. I'm trying to change that, but it's just been a week. It's just been crazy, so it is what it is. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to support me and the channel, please consider joining my Patreon. The link is down below. Thank you guys as always so much for all your support, and I'll see you all as always in our next coffee time. Bye!